Good afternoon, you're watching Q News, and here are the top stories for this hour. Lebanon's Parliament Speaker, Nabi Berri, has set a January 9th date for the House to elect the country's president. Lebanon's Parliament will meet on January the 9th to elect a new president seeking to end more than 2 years without a head of state. That's according to official Lebanese media, and they reported today, a day after an Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire began. Israeli tank fire has hit 6 areas in southern Lebanon after Israeli officials claimed that the ceasefire with Hezbollah was breached when what it called suspects arrived at several zones in the southern zone. The rounds struck Markaba, Wazani, Kafashuba, Kiam, Taiba and the agricultural plains around Marjayun, all of which lie within 2 kilometers of the blue line demarcating the border between Lebanon and Israel. One of the security sources said that 2 people were wounded in Markaba. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon that took effect earlier was the first ray of hope in the regional conflict after months of escalation. Guterres said that it is essential that those who signed the ceasefire commitment respect it in full, adding that the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon was ready to monitor the ceasefire. He also reiterated his call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Josep Borrell, has called on the international community, especially the European Union, not to undermine the International Criminal Court. Borrell said that supporting the International Criminal Court and strengthening its decisions is the only way to achieve justice in the world. He added that Netanyahu's government is trampling on international law and violating international humanitarian law, stressing that what is happening in Gaza is a flagrant violation of human rights.
That Israeli society is facing, because it is
Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has said he believed the United States would punish the International Criminal Court for having issued arrest warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister. Israel has said it will appeal the ICC decision to move against Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity in the Gaza conflict. But during a visit to the Czech Republic, Saar said other countries were also dismayed by the decision, including the United States. Saar added that Israel would finish the 14-month-old war in Gaza when it achieves its objectives of returning detainees being held.
Cooperates. It is a very poor decision. It will undermine.
Israeli military strikes have killed at least 17 Palestinians across the Gaza Strip. In Nusrat, Israeli planes carried out several airstrikes, destroying a multi-floor building and hitting roads outside mosques. At least 7 people were killed in some of the strikes, health officials said. Medics said at least 2 people, a woman and a child, were killed in tank shelling that hit western areas of Nusrat, while an airstrike killed 5 others in a house nearby. President Vladimir Putin has said Russia is selecting targets in Ukraine that could include decision-making centers in Kyiv in response to Ukrainian long-range strikes on Russian territory with Western weapons. Putin told a meeting of a security alliance of ex-Soviet countries in Kazakhstan and said Russia will respond to ongoing strikes on Russian territory with long-range Western-made missiles, including possibly continuing to test the Oreshnik in combat conditions, as was done on November the 21st. Russia has launched a widespread missile attack on Ukraine. All regions of Ukraine were under air raid alerts early Thursday amid Russia's latest long-range drone and missile barrage against the country's energy grid, with almost 1 million people reportedly left without power. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia launched around 100 drones and more than 90 missiles into Ukraine, including projectiles carrying cluster munitions. And that's all for our top stories for this hour. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates here on Q News.